North Korea is completely opposite. They try to make you brainwashed so you don't know how to think critically. In school, you can fail at math, you can fail at grammar, you can fail at all other subjects, but the subject you should never fail in North Korea. That is the revolution history of our dear leaders. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today in this video, I am going to talk about North Korea's education system. North Korea education system is a foundation of almost everything the regime set up this crazy utopian system that we read in George Orwell's book. The education system exists to glorify the leader and the system, and it supports the existing system. And let's see how they're gonna do this. So basically, the North Korean education is from preschool to end of high school. So there's a 1 year of preschool and then 4 years of elementary school. Then North Korea combines between middle school and high school, put them into just 6 years we call middle school. After that, so total 11 years of education. After that, you go off to get a higher education, go to college, or whatever that is next level. So supposedly, according to the regime, it is a universal free education system, but I will go into later a whole bunch why it's not free, actually completely opposite from free. In this system, what the regime mainly teaches is glorifying teen family. Here in the West, in free democracy, education purpose is help us and help the children to think critically. Critical thinking is number one thing that education tried to achieve in the West. And that's why I was so shocked when I came to America. And when I went to university, they were saying, we are trying to teach people how to think. And we do, they develop their critical thinking skill. I was like, what is critical thinking? In North Korea, it's completely opposite. They try to make you brainwashed so you don't know how to think critically. It's the opposite way. In school, we do learn about, basic math. But even in the math, how they teach it, it has all propaganda materials like this. There are 4 American bastards. You killed 2 of them. How many American bastards you left to kill? As like not even 10 years old, you say 2 American bastards. Imagine you were murdering someone for kids. When I went to South Korea, I had to relearn everything, and I had this my math books. It was, you adding 2 apples and 3 oranges, how many total fruits you got? And instead in North Korea, how many American bastards are left to kill? They teach you conjugation, like grammar and math, and one of the conjugations is like this. You killed Americans, you are killing Americans. You will kill Americans. That's how the conjugation works, and that's the education. But in this, a lot of subjects they do teach us, physics, maybe geography, but my case, I didn't get the education, maybe music, and maybe modern, socialism, modernity. I took that course too. And among all these subjects, the main thing that you have to learn is the history of our dear leaders, Kim Il-sung, and then his wife Kim Jong-suk, and then third is Kim Jong-il, and now I heard they have to learn about Kim Jong-un. So in school, you can fail at math, you can fail at grammar, you can fail at all other subjects, but the subject you should never fail in North Korea. That is the revolution history of our dear leaders. But the revolution history of dear leaders is not like for us to analyze or understand anything, none of that. It's just forced memorization. They teach us this exact day, this location. Our dear leader Kim Il Sung killed this many Japanese imperialists. That's like problem they in school they give to us, and then we say which year, which day American Japanese imperialists got killed by our dear leader. And it's like all everything in school is try to make us believe that dear leaders are gods and that we are forever indebted to the grace of dear leaders. Another thing is that they teach about the rest of the world, outside the world, and one of them is South Korea. In North Korea, they teach us South Korea is colonized by American bastards, and they are very poor. The South Korean girls get raped by American soldiers. They get South Korean kids don't have money enough to go school to learn, unlike us in North Korea. And they say, we have to be a good people. We go to South Korea and liberate our South Korean cousins and brothers from American bastards. That is education. And another thing is that another subject I vividly remember was pretty, it was as a child, it was really scary and shocking because they had this room in school where we had to go. And maybe once a Wednesday, I remember every Wednesday we had to bring a very white clean socks to go this very special room. That room had photos of our dear leader who was when he was younger, when he was young janitor defeating our enemies, and they showed us a lot of posters of American imperialists killing North Koreans. They were not like actual photos, but they were like these posters. They were like horrifying. These American monsters came and killing North Korean women who was pregnant, burning the babies, and they were taking our teeth out and sewing our neck. And it was just something as a child. It was terrifying to see it, and it was actually really made me believe that I was so grateful that I was safe because of their leader. And this was the education they gave us about America. And in the countryside, like where I lived, other than Pyongyang, the education is really just, their main goal is keeping us ignorant, keeping us not knowing anything. In that system, but even getting this crappy, fake, fabricated education, it wasn't free. The school teachers constantly beating us, and they demanded us to pay things to school. It was like this. They demanded us to give them a rabbit skin. So supposedly Kim Il Sung heard one day that North Korea has like not 80% of mountains, and therefore we have a lot of grass, and rabbits really good for feeding them grass. So everybody should have rabbits. And after you eat the meat, you give the skin of the rabbits. So they make those rabbit skin to make our soldiers, maybe cook in the winter. And of course, you cannot like have 5-7 rabbits, and the size they demand is like huge. The rabbit in Russia don't even grow that big, and you cannot like make the skins. The only way you can buy those is going to black market to buy those rabbit skin. But once we buy the rabbit skin and give it to them, it becomes like currency. These schools are so corrupt, and they sell those rabbit skins back to black market, and then demand us more black market, and then we go buy that exact same skin, like rabbit skin, and we buy them and we pay them again, give it to them, and they sell them again to the black market and make more money that way. And the things they want is ridiculous. Like they ask us to go, after school in the morning. In the afternoon is a labor time. It doesn't matter you're 9 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old. Everybody have to work after in the morning time. Morning time you learn about their leaders. Afternoon we have to bring the labor clothes and go out. They say pick up the glasses pick up some letters and nails, or pick up some rubber. So we go in the trash down anywhere we can go and looking for rubber, looking for tiny metal, looking for some paper. And in the winter time, they ask us to bring a firewood to keep in the classroom warm because we don't have any central heating system. And then also they demand money us to bring home. And if you fail to bring those money, teacher hit you and then send you back until you bring it to school. So the idea of socialism provides like the free education. It cannot be enough worse than that. So this education system in North Korea only does one thing, is making us dumber, makes us think more, not able to comprehend more like complex thoughts. And in a way, I'm so grateful that my father's, not because my father sent to prison so early, but because he went to prison, unfortunately, I wasn't able to afford to go to school. But that means I didn't get to learn all those, what my mom put it, crap. Sorry guys to use these words. Like, I asked mom, like, are you grateful you got all the education? Like, it was all lie. Like, it actually is so much work for her to undo her propaganda schooling. And for me, I was like a sponge. I didn't get much education. So in a way, it was so much better for me not learning all those trash than learning it and coming here to undo all those propaganda. And it was less work for me to do than people who went to school full time and lived in North Korea way longer. Thank you guys. I hope this was informative and helpful for you to understand North Korea deeply and more in a complex way. And I look forward to coming back to the next subject. Stay safe. Bye.